Hello everyone, it's your favorite long distance passenger route back with another edition of Trains of the Month. A couple things before I begin today. One, I understand it's just a little late, but there's a good reason. Two, I just moved into college, so I haven't had time to write scripts, edit, or go out at all, so don't expect much for August. Anyway, July was a big month for rail fanning, so let's get to the reason y'all are here. We start out on the 2nd above Canadian National's Green Bay Yard on the Atkinson Drive Bridge. I first took pictures of some foreign power, which is an oddity in Green Bay. After a little bit, I'd look towards the north end of the yard to see a train coming in. It wasn't a CN train, but an ELS or Escanaba and Lake Superior train being led by number 400, a GP38-2 in Great Northern colors. The second locomotive was an SD9 1221, which isn't as cool in my opinion. After watching the two move through the yard, I realized that they are going to be heading out of the yard back north very shortly. So I hop back into my car and head down to the Military Avenue crossing and catch the train there. About 2 weeks after, on the 13th, I spot the ELS engines again at the County Road S crossing tied down while on a field trip. Later on in the evening, I head over and take some pictures. After looking at the trains from afar, I head toward Green Bay Yard and take some more pictures. Unfortunately, there was nothing moving, so I didn't take any videos. The next day, I take a look at heritage units and see that there's a BC Rail locomotive coming up from Chicago. I quickly call up my good friend, the infamous shot ruiner Flying Scott Films, or the Green Bay Rail fan on Instagram, and tell him about the locomotive. So the two of us decided to head down to Neenah to catch the train. Once we get down there, we head to our normal spot at the North Lake Street crossing where we catch a southbound manifest. Shortly after, we catch 9610 heading north, light power. And finally, the next train to come through is the northbound intermodal where the BC Rail unit is a rear DPU. Yeah. Once the intermodal is cleared through the crossing, we head to the yard to catch some more action. We see 3138 switching in the yard. Shortly after, another southbound came through. This video was taken by Flying Scott Films, as I wasn't cool enough to take pictures and video at the same time. Also, while this train was coming through, a northbound came through and blasted its horn at the two of us. And then we noticed another locomotive as next to DPU. I wonder what it could be. Maybe something neat that heard of see Nina. Oh, it's a Cinderella Jeep. Every time I've gone out rail fanning, without fail, I've seen those stupid frickin' engines. I don't care how special they are, I see them all the time, and they aren't cool. Sorry about that. Anyways, the next day, on the 15th, I did some work at the National Railroad Museum, and then headed to get my car looked at. Long story. Anyways, while I'm there, I hear a train horn in the distance, and immediately recognize it as the Sanimax job. So I head over that way and catch Illinois Central 3110. I realized that it would be a really good opportunity to see 3110 run through the ex-Green Bay Western Norwood Yard. So what do? I go over there and post up just east of the yard on a walking path. As the train comes through, it stops and sits there. And it keeps sitting there. And it keeps sitting there. So finally I check the depot rail cam and see that there is a high rail truck coming through, and I rush over that direction. And yes, I did catch it. I then once again ran back over to the crossing to catch 3110 move through, and I did get the shots I wanted. Perfect picture with the grain silos in the background, with 3110 running long hood forward. I then catch the high rail truck again performing a Y. After a quick realization, I ran north and stopped at the depot to catch the truck again in the front of the depot, but instead of catching the truck, I actually caught GTW 5854 running through. Then, finally, I caught the high rail coming through. I didn't know what I wanted at the time, so the video camera, aka my phone, was placed on the ground rather than my hand or on top of the car. Naturally, I kept following the truck until it hits Green Bay Yard, where I catch this shot at the North Broadway crossing. On the 17th, Flying Scott Films and I head out to Nino once again, this time as a pit stop. Mutual friends flew in that night, and we casually decided to go rail fanning before running to the airport to pick them up. We post up at our usual spot, the North Lake Street crossing, as a northbound sits and waits. We don't have to wait long before a southbound intermodal comes through. Want to take a guess on what's on the train?
I'll take pictures of the damn thing. Heck, are they just washed?
Did you guess a Citadel Gevo? Because if you did, you're right, and I hate it because I can't. Once the southbound comes to a stop, the northbound finally gets underway. And in case you're wondering, Sunbeam flat cars are really good at pushing a lot of air.
Shit. This lighting is absolutely perfect for my phone.
I really hope that's all I saw because I don't have anything else. Anyways, it's the 19th and the boys and I are off to the IRM for the day out with Thomas. Why I was there? Because the boys wanted to go and I was just there for the trains and nostalgia. Anyways, we pick up fellow YouTuber The Wooden Wilbert along the way, and I decided we were going to catch a metro train at Grayslake Station. We were lucky enough to catch one of the SD70 Max, which I've never seen in person yet.
These are the coaches that I like. With the smaller, the bigger windows. Not that one though. Oh!
Then we went to Dale with Thomas and saw like actual cool trains, not the creepy ones with faces. Man, whoever likes Thomas the Train must be insane. Like, go get a life or something. No, wait, I take it back. Anyway, the boys and I head back to Wisconsin, and we're back on my home turf in Neenah on the 20th. Originally, I'm thinking today is going to be a slow day, as it's a Sunday, which is usually a slow day. But boy, was I wrong. As usual, there's some yard power, which is kind of whatever at this point, although Wildcat GP40s are all pretty cool. As yard power does their thing, Northbound Manifest comes through with a single GEVO leading and then another as a mid DPU. And then things get interesting. I check the rail cam in Waupaca and see something a little special coming south. I tell the group we need to head over to the Lake Street crossing. As we sit there, the gang starts getting a little bored until we see headlights come around the corner. We all watch in eager anticipation. But what comes around the corner exactly? Well, for the first time ever in Neenah, we caught a power move with 7 locomotives on the head end. And it gets even cooler. The third unit was an Illinois Central Dash 9, one of the first Dash 9s I've seen. Truly an awesome catch. After getting about 10 identical recordings of these locos running through the crossing, we all raced over to the yard to catch it coming through. We got there right as it was going through, and luckily it stopped in the yard to switch some cars out and into the yard, giving us ample time to admire its beauty. Now, you might be thinking, I finally made it through an outing without seeing a Citadel Gevo. And that's where you'd be wrong, because before I leave, I check the signals to see that there's a northbound coming through. So I wait to see the next train, which I really shouldn't have done, because guess what's on this train? The gang was going to CN Yard the next day, July 21st, and I caught CN 3110 running Longhorn forward at some crossing just under the Mason Street Bridge while on the way. Once there, we see Foxy 1048 and 1042 at the east end of the yard. We check the locomotive tracks and see some locos hanging around. We also check out where the power is that came in on the morning train. I can't do this anymore. Please. It was almost time for the gang to leave, but first we got to take a trip to CN's Homewood Shops through the National Railroad Museum summer camp. While down there, we see some pretty cool things. An IC SD60, an Iowa Northern GP38 in slug, and even an IC SW14. Oh yeah, and I didn't take any videos, so you get some pictures instead. And lastly, after a boat party on the 26th, I was helping someone get back home and caught a pair of Gevos after their turn down the Green Bay Y. What a climactic way to end the month. Alright, that's it for July. Totally ignore the fact that it's the start of September. Again, I just started college. Uploads will be even more scarce than they already are. I only had a couple outings in August, so don't worry, the next one's quite short. Maybe it'll be out sooner than this one. Maybe. Again, be sure to look at the Google Sheet for all my catches if you're really into it, and go check out my Instagram to see what I catch long before these videos come up. Until next time, bye!